All right, so I do got a rare good story here, a breaking story that's just happened. It says Judge orders Sanders others to be reinstated to New York primary ballot. So I reported to you super early, probably one of the first people, if not the first person to report to you, that New York was trying to kick Bernie Sanders off the ballot to prevent him from getting delegates. Now, we have to remember is New York has like 220 delegates, something massive like that. It's a gargantuan, a giant of a state when it comes to delegates. And the more delegates that Bernie Sanders gets, the more he's able to compromise and get more concessions at the DNC, lefty positions at the DNC, more left-wing policy positions, structure for future elections, and all that stuff. And they didn't pass it as some separate statute. What they did instead was they kind of shoved it into this budget, this really obscure provision in there that applied to it. And so it's clear that they were just trying to do this to get Bernie off of the ballot. Now, this article says a federal judge issued a ruling Tuesday requiring New York to hold its presidential primary in June and restore Senator Bernie Sanders and other former presidential contenders to the ballot. The ruling from Judge Analisa Torres of the Southern District of New York, an Obama appointee, said that Governor Andrew Cuomo's decision to scrap his state's primary violated the First and Fourteenth Amendment rights of White House contenders who have since ended their campaigns. Quote, the court concludes that plaintiffs and plaintiff-intervenors have shown a clear and substantial likelihood of success on the merits of their claim that the Democratic Commissioner's April 27 resolution removing Yang, Sanders, and 8 other Democratic presidential candidates from the ballot deprived them of associational rights under the First and 14th Amendments of the Constitution, Torres ruled, referring to entrepreneur Andrew Yang, another former presidential candidate who filed the lawsuit against New York. So, credit where credit is due to Andrew Yang. Shout out to Andrew Yang for doing this because he's actually the one who filed the lawsuit in this case. So thank you to Andrew Yang. Appreciate that very much. Good move on your part, dude. But obviously, First Amendment, freedom of speech, petition, assembly, religion and all that good stuff. And then 14th Amendments, equal protection under the law and, natural born citizenship. So all of that stuff is ruined. Now, there are two things to be said about this. Or what are the two things to be said about this? There's two. One of them being the reason that they're trying to kick him off. I already told you one of the reasons, but actually there's two reasons. So if Bernie Sanders is at the top of the ballot, or he's on the top of the ballot to be chosen, way more progressives are going to go out to vote. In this case, it's going to be, vote by mail. But they'll actually be voting, right, where a lot of people won't actually vote. And because Bernie Sanders is on the top of the ballot. And so if Bernie Sanders is on top of the ballot, you've got people like Jamal Bowman in New York who are progressives who are down ballot who are going to have a higher chance of winning. They don't want that. They want low voter turnout because that benefits them. Democrats are very similar to Republicans in a lot of ways. Like, remember when, the guy who was over in AOC's district, Joe Crowley, before she won the seat, they barely had any voter turnout. And he loved that. That was fine. Like, the Democrats are basically the same as Republicans. They love low voter turnout when it benefits them. So, they don't want that to happen. So that's one of the main reasons as to why they are actually doing this and, kicking off Bernie Sanders from here to remove him from the ballot. And then obviously, he wouldn't be getting those delegates to go to the convention with. So you got to really understand that they're just trying to do this to take down Bernie Sanders. And so it's important that you vote for him, and make sure if you're in New York and you're voting, make sure to vote for the progressives who are down ballot, folks. Make sure to do that, okay? Because it is very, very crucial for you to vote for him so we can get some delegates to get reform. Just to give you an example, why did we not have any superdelegates on the first ballot this time around? It's because last time Bernie went to the convention, went to a commission, Reform Unity Commission, whatever, yada yada, and we got them off. So imagine the concessions that we can pull next time, right? So that's why we need to continue to go through this. So make sure to vote for Bernie, but not only Bernie, but make sure to also vote for the progressives who are down ballots, all right?